Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we're helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called The Intuitive Entrepreneur: Deeper Connections for Soul-Driven Success. This is a juicy, juicy topic for entrepreneurs, you guys. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to introduce all the ladies to you in just a minute, but a huge thank you needs to go out to Deb DeCelle. She is our lead author of The Intuitive Entrepreneur. Deb, you had a huge mission and vision for this book, and I'm so grateful to you for gathering this stellar group of expert authors to talk about this subject. I've been going through the interviews this week, and it just lights me up, this subject. Just wait, you guys, just wait when you hear these stories and what these really seasoned, intuitively connected entrepreneurs have to say today. Emily Atlantis Wolf is one of them. She's an intuition teacher who helps people trust themselves to make decisions with confidence. Nicole Pope is here. She's an Akashic and shamanic evidential medium and host of Empower Your Soul podcast. Becky Dotson is here. She's a gifted psychic medium offering insightful readings and channeled messages from loved ones, spirits, and the universe. And Becky, you're going to be the first up today. Tell us a little bit about the why behind this chapter that you wrote.
Absolutely. I wrote chapter 6. I get by with a little help from my guides. And I wrote this because while I believe even the most intuitive people out there can struggle to tap in to their intuition if they're asking for information or guidance on an area of their life where they're too emotionally attached to it. And in particular, I happen to attract a lot of women who struggle with romantic relationships and trusting themselves and tapping into their intuition when they're either dating or with their current partner. And a big part of that is because I have struggled with that in my journey. And that's actually how I've opened up to my gifts. And sometimes I just need a little help from my guides. And we have this whole support team out there that a lot of people don't know about and that they can use. And so I was really passionate about sharing this tool with it, with people, but you don't have to just use it with romantic relationships. I've used it to decide on huge decisions, financial decisions, decisions on where to move. And so I was really passionate about sharing that with others.
So you gave me a moment there when you talked about being too emotionally attached in this one particular situation might cloud the intuition. Am I hearing that right? Like, what do you want me to know about that?
Yeah, I believe if you are too emotionally attached to something, in particular, if you're dealing with another person, I have definitely gotten clear, intuitive information, but struggled to trust it because I wanted something to work out a certain way or I wanted a certain outcome to happen. And I just totally ignored my intuition. But anytime I enlist the help of my guides, they always give me clear information. And I know I need to go in that direction despite whatever my emotions are feeling at that time.
Whatever you really, really, really want to happen. It's that feeling of
Yes.
like, oh, I want this to happen so bad, right?
We think we know best,
Yeah. Okay.
but I always say sometimes they know better, or your higher self knows better. But sometimes it's hard to tap into that higher self when, again, your muggle mind or your ego wants something completely different.
And this is a great way to start this off today with this kind of awareness. You all are going to be dropping golden nuggets of awareness, which is really that journey into deeper intuition connection, and then even speaking with your guides like Becky is talking about. I hope you guys are all you listeners are waking up right now like, oh, this is possible. Like, oh, maybe I could get a little extra help when I'm having a tough day with this. Becky, thank you for saying yes to this project. And thanks for being here today. We're going to hear more from you in just a moment.
Thank you.
Emily, tell me um, a little bit about the why behind your chapter. I'm chuckling because of the name thing, but I just can't get used to it.
Well, as
Tell
I
me
like to
everything.
say, you could call me Emily or you can call me Atlantis, but don't call me late for dinner. Because as I stepped out of the shamanic community bubble and into LinkedIn and the business world, it's a matter of comfort. So there's a lot of people who are just not comfortable saying, I can't call you Atlantis. I just can't do it. And I'm like, okay, just call me Emily, you know?
Yeah,
And
it works.
they're like, oh, is that okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm named after Emily Dickinson. My mom gave me that name. I let go of the other names. So yeah, go for it. But it's interesting if we were talking about intuition and thinking. And as an intuition teacher, one of the things I like to say is, you know more than you think. And we get so rewarded for thinking, for, times tables, for math, for fast reading and fast processing. And so we get very thinky. We get very much in our head. And so for me, my why is around radicalizing women, which is my sole purpose. Women are feelers. We're feelers, we're healers, we're sensual, we're pleasure-based. But if we're wired from birth to only get rewarded with attention, money, good grades, good girl syndrome, then we lose track of the fact that we've got so much more to offer and to guide our life. So for me, the most important thing is accessing intuition is just accessing your nature. This is your natural state, to be pulled and moved and to feel that oceanic wave of, I feel like I should move in this direction. Not logically, not because I think it would get me a better 401k or because I think that it would bring me safety, the illusion of safety. But the safest place is in your heart. That's where you can trust. And trusting is really what I like to preach about, what I like to talk about. People get intuition hits constantly, all the time, but you have to come into a safe space so that you can take little baby steps into trusting that intuition with smaller and smaller little things, which might be as simple as, what should I have for breakfast? What would be the most nutritious, nourishing thing I can give my body as a gift for breakfast? And that's how I started my journey. 24 years ago, I lost 85 pounds. And it was after I had my son, but I didn't have an 85-pound baby. He was 7 healthy pounds. So all of that was because I said, I'm done. I am sick of being overweight. I am just tired. And so I said, okay, body, what you got? What do you want? I'll give you whatever you want. And having that line in the sand of, this is where I start, was the first step to listening to my intuition.
I love everything you're saying. I'm going to rewind you to one piece about that safe space. And something I've learned is that others have created amazing safe spaces for me in all kinds of ways, but ultimately I have to create my own. And you have done that for yourself. If you were, I need only just the one little dip my big toe in step right now. But if you were going to help somebody, what's the first thing they need to do to create the safe space for themselves?
Literally, you have to find somebody to feel safe first, because you can't crawl out of your crab shell without some kind of safety. I mean, lobsters lose their shell under a rock. So first, step one, find someone you feel safe with. And then step two, get quiet, turn off all your tech, hug a tree, get in nature, and in stillness and silence, ask the question that you're afraid to ask.
Awesome. Okay, that was more than one thing, but did you guys catch it all? All right, so turn off the tech. Let's just go back to that one for a second. Emily, thank you so much for being in this project and bringing your awesome energy to it, and for being here today. Nicole, tell us some of the why behind your chapter?
The why behind my chapter, and by the way, thank you so much for having us here. This is such an incredible opportunity to be in the same room as all of these powerhouse women and in the same book as everybody. My why behind my chapter is to talk about how you are born of unlimited potential, and you just have to open up and see what that is. And my journey started in the corporate world. I was a corporate executive with, multi-million dollar transformations, working with CEOs of financial services, healthcare, you name it. And until my son told me he could see spirit with his eyes, I thought that was my path. That was my path, is transforming these large organizations, healing them from the inside. And when my son told me he could see spirits, my entire world flipped upside down, and I opened up a part of myself I never knew even existed. And over the course of 3 years, from learning that I was a medium to training to opening up my own business, I left corporate America to pursue the dreams of my soul and just totally fulfill my life inside and out in a way that I never could have imagined.
Oh my God, where do I start with this? Okay, so I think the first thing I want to know is, before he divulged that, did you also see them and just weren't talking about it, or did you have no clue about stuff like
honestly, that? It's a good question. I had no clue. I actually grew up Catholic. I was an altar girl. And so I was very, very good, very perfectionist, just like a lot of women who face that internal struggle. And I always loved mediumship because I never believed that we died, went to heaven, and did nothing. Because I was like, that sounds like the most boring. What is the point? What is the point of this? So I've always kind of questioned, I would say, a lot of the teachings in the church. And as I moved into this mediumship world that I love so much, and I started becoming the practitioner instead of just the watcher, the person on the bench, I realized that I actually have been working with spirit my entire life in just ways I never expected. So my son can see spirit, my daughter can hear spirit, and I have more of that feeling, that knowing, claircognizance, which is why I had absolutely no idea that I could do any of this stuff, because it's not the way the movies show it. It's not the way a lot of mediums talk about it. So yeah, it was totally a black hole for me until my first class with mediumship, and she taught me how to connect, and there they all were. I was like, oh, there you all are. I had no idea you were here this whole time.
It takes something to take that risk of leaving everything and jumping like you did. Do you want to just talk about that for a moment?
It was the hardest decision of my life, because I had spent 20 years building up my career. I mean, I went to business school. I worked and I jumped jobs for several years, and I was very, very good at what I did, probably because of this intuitive stuff, right? Like no one else could do it at my level, because I was reading the energy of everything. So it made sense to me. I could walk into any problem and be able to solve it. And I would know the exact path to solving this problem, what the root cause was, and everything, way before people were even thinking that this was a problem. So for me, it just seemed like this natural space. I built up my career. I built up my name. I've never, ever had to apply for a job ever. I've always got referred or recruited into my jobs. So being able to leave that behind, I agree, it was so nerve-wracking, but I knew it was the right path for me, and spirit showed me over and over and over again that this is what I'm meant to do, and actually create change on a small scale level, at the individual level, instead of the corporate level.
Oh, I love it so much. Thank you. Really huge thanks to all three of you for doing what you did in these beautiful chapters. And you all are hearing some of it now. Just wait till you read this book. You're going to have an entire expert team to help you with your abilities, your superpowers, your intuition, your avenue into making these clear decisions, and just knowing that the path in front of you is the one you should be stepping on. This is badass kind of stuff, you guys. Nicole, thank you for saying yes and being here today. You did a great job with the segue to this next question without knowing it. but well, maybe you did know it. Oh my gosh, you guys know everything. It's a little scary to be in rooms with psychic people. You guys said, I always feel like you guys can like see me when I'm naked in my bedroom or something, and I'm just like putting up my button. Anyway, I'm teasing you guys right now, but Emily, okay, the intuitive entrepreneur. This isn't just any book, is it? What does it mean to you to have that intuitive superpower when it comes to business, being an entrepreneur?
I think that to me, it proves that it's not something that you do out of the back of a Conestoga wagon and go from town to town. And, you have like your dry bones and you're telling people like what to do with their life. It's a business. It's a real business. It's a way to make money. You can heal people. You can teach people. You can do everything that you need to do intuitively with your gifts and still have an income, any income you want, to be honest. It's really just a matter of design your own adventure. So instead of being stuck, it's a way of making you unlimited and expansive. So I agree with Nicole. I mean, the name of my company is Infinity Flow, because when you start to work with the concept of, well, what would I do? Which is what I love to ask people, with infinite time, money, and support. And when you can expand yourself, you move into a place that you weren't before. Instead of saying, how can I be safe? How can I save up? How can I trade time for money over and over and over until I have enough money? Never. So that then I can spend the time I have left. No, it's all absolutely ridiculous. You have an infinite amount of everything. So the key is, what would you do with it? If you had infinite everything, what would you do with it? And so for me, answering that question every day is what makes being in business fun, because everything that I invent intuitively, that they're saying, we want you to do this. Okay. And when I left my corporate job 15 years ago, they said, we want you to do medical massage, which I did. And then at the last election, they said, we want you to stop doing that. We want you to do a 6-month program, start teaching this stuff. Now I'm doing that. I always say yes to spirit.
Yeah, that's again, it takes something to trust that. So yep, all of you are just, I keep using the word badass because that's how I feel about somebody who's willing to take the risk based on the trust they have of the message moving through. And all three of you have gotten to a certain level of being able to do that, which is one of the things I get excited about wanting to share with other people. Just nod at me if you agree with everybody has this superpower. Are you in everybody? Yeah, all of you. Okay, perfect. I want it. You, in case you were not watching that video, not what, or oh my God, in case you weren't watching the video, you guys, all three of them nodded with me. Okay, so you can do this too. Nicole, tell me more about what it's meant to you in terms of your business and being an entrepreneur, to have that intuition.
It has been a complete game changer. And keep in mind, I come from the corporate world. I come from strategy. I trained to be a project manager. I'm a Six Sigma Master Black Belt. If anyone knows what that means, probably not. But that is essentially a professional problem solver that is very, very structured. I mean, project plans, to-do lists, risks and issues logs, you name it. Excuse me. And so for me, the intuition is this incredible supplement to this. And the way that I kind of balance the two is I really think of my intuition, my connection with spirit, as this strategic plan. So what's the direction? What's the vision? Where am I going? And then I end up using those corporate skill sets, the project management skill sets, to execute on that plan. So for me, it's always this incredible balance of the intuition as well as the practical to help you completely transform your life, transform others' life, transform your path so that you can live the best life imaginable.
Think about that combination of, right? Like, yes. All right, Becky, you're going to answer the same one. So for you, tell me a little bit more about, that intuitive superpower, what it's meant in terms of being an entrepreneur for you.
Hope if I could get off mute. It's kind of funny hearing Emily and Nicole because I actually am still in the corporate world full time. I'm in human resources, and Spirit has said not yet, not full-time entrepreneur yet. Um, but I absolutely love my corporate job and I use my intuition every single day with decisions that I make for employees. I actually lead my own team and I tap into my intuition when I have to have tough conversations with people. How do I navigate this? And I just trust what I get intuitively. Um, and it's great, but on my side business, I really, because I have that intuitive ability and I can use it in my corporate job and be so successful, it actually helps me in my side business because I can kind of relax and have fun. And, as Emily says, allow things to flow and go with the flow because I'm not strapped for cash or for benefits. And in doing that and having that, I'm just having fun with my side business, helping a lot of people. And actually, a lot of doors like this door has opened for me. And it's getting closer and closer to that moment where I can, step away from the corporate world full time.
I love the way that you explained all of that for people who are in that scenario and have that same story. What a good feel you just put on a time where you might be transitioning a little bit more to the side hustle, or we don't like the word hustle, do we? The side thing. But you're super happy with right where you are with both things happening and you're in the flow. So you trust how it's all going to play out for you, which is just the best ever. I love that. Okay, I want all of you to tell me a little bit more about the thing that you're teaching in the book. The tools that we have in this book are absolutely phenomenal. So, Nicole, for you, what's the most important thing you want people to know about this empowered soul attunement? That's part of your chapter title.
It is. And I love the threads that we've already placed with this one because Atlantis, or Emily, has already talked about her business name and how that has led into the work that she does for people, because that's the same with me. So Empowered Soul is technically the legal name of my business. And it is this idea that everyone has access to unlimited information already inside of them. So this attunement connects you to your higher self, which is your soul that has experienced and lived through all of your past lives. It knows your strengths. It knows your opportunities. It knows your direction of travel in this lifetime as well. So using that tool, you can tap into the wisdom of your soul to help you get answers, get clarity, transform, and really just get you on the path that you're meant to be.
Yes, it's exciting. There's one thing to have your soul there, but it's quite another to have an empowered soul. I like those two words together. All right, Becky, how about for you? What's the most important thing you want people to know about our guides and getting those answers to the questions that we have?
Absolutely. I want everyone to know that you have, kind of like to bounce off Nicole, an unlimited source of information, not just from your higher self, but you have a whole team in spirit made up of, your past loved ones, your spirit guides, angels. They're here to help you, but they will never intervene without you asking them for help, right? And they're also never going to give you a direct answer because they don't want to interfere, but they will send you signs, guidance, and help you tap into your intuition.
That's an excellent golden nugget. Thank you for that. I'm always interested in the guides hanging around me, and always been kind of envious of people who could name them literally. Like I don't know any names. I know they're there, but I don't have names. So I feel like I would really like to talk to you out loud with a name, but I'm not, it would be me making it up. But the most important thing I want to pause on there is I learned I have to ask out loud. I ask in my writing, and that was cool. But when I started to actually verbalize the asks, I had to start being careful what I wished for. It was phenomenal, like immediate, crazy little, like, whoa, okay. I hope you guys are getting excited about listening to this because these things are available to you, to everybody. Okay, Emily, you're going to close us out today on your answer to this. What's the most important thing you want people to know about that confident decision making?
So I'm laughing because be careful what you wish for. You know, your soul is on an adventure. So your soul is going to think it's an adventure to be homeless as well as to be wealthy and living on top of a mountain. So when you look at your life through a soul's perspective, things loosen up a lot. It becomes a lot more like a comedy act. And so when I talk about decision making, I remind people we make around 35,000 decisions a day, which is both terrifying and enlightening. But 95% of those are subconscious. So I like to teach people how to make good decisions so they can free up their brain space so that they feel like they've got more space in their brain. And connecting with your intuition is easy. So if you are flowing, those decisions are not stopping points. They're just sort of like, oh, what am I going to have? Intuitively get clear on your question, clear out your energy, ask your question. And it's so simple. But when you get into that routine, instead of saying, how can I win the lottery? You start to say things like, how can I be happy? How can I be fulfilled? How can I find peace in the storm? And you ask better questions. And that's the goal, is that this is just the first step. And as soon as you walk through that door, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And to your point, Laura, you open up more and more gateways of infinite possibility. And all of a sudden you realize living is winning. By living, by deciding, by moving, by flowing, you're winning the game of life because it's all about the pleasure of living. And suddenly you have tuned in to the real way to live, which has nothing to do with control or security or the illusion of safety. You free fall.
Mm. The pleasure of living. Yes. What a great note to move out on today. Ladies, to all of you, Becky, Emily, Nicole, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if you guys haven't already felt the vibe, this is really way more than a book. This is a generous community. Maybe you've got a question after today, or you're just burning to carry on the conversation. Maybe you need some support from these talented, expert, intuitive entrepreneurs. Come on down to the show notes because I have all three of them hooked up with their sites, their links. Please go explore and see all of the amazing things they are up to. It's a lot. I hope you do that. And of course, we hope you hop over to Amazon and pick up your copy of The Intuitive Entrepreneur. You're going to have a whole book worth of experts to guide you. Lastly, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.